Hi. Okay. Uh, to effectively communicate, be present. There's a power dynamic going on inside all of us. We see ourselves from our perspective, which is our identity, which we control. And then we also see an imagined version others have of us that we also want to control. And in every interaction, unless we're present, those two identities fight for power. These identities or power structures are crafted by the ego for the purpose of distracting attention away from the present moment. Putting all of our energy into being an identity leaves no energy for anything else. Since the brain can only focus effectively on one task at a time, when all the attention is focused on an identity, no attention can be given to listening or participating in the current conversation or current situation. Anytime the mind is focused on being a thing, it is engaged in the distraction of an imagined idea of self, which is always in the future. It can be in the past, but I'll go into that in another video. But normally when we are imagining ourselves as something, we imagine it as something else other than what we have experienced, which is something better than what we currently are, which is always in the future. So it's not present. For example, uh, a person named Keith has always wanted to be clever and interesting. He was getting a routine EKG, and the technician was very talkative. Keith was concerned with appearing clever and interesting, and so was formulating answers while the technician was talking. Later, Keith remembered the technician stating a preference to only talk about certain subjects, and he realized he missed an opportunity to be clever and interesting by asking about those subjects rather than engaging in the idle chit chat going on in his head. Because Keith was distracted with his identity of himself, his idea of how he thought himself to be, he could not navigate the conversation. So he's left feeling defeated. So he wants to be clever and interesting, but the only way he can do that is by being actually present, so you can actually practice being clever and interesting. So distraction is the mind's thinking it already knows. And a mind that already knows cannot learn anything. So in order to communicate or do anything effectively, the mind must be empty of any preconceived ideas about the self or others. Thinking that you already know how a person is going to act or how a situation is going to turn out has the opposite effect of communicating, because communicating is the exchange of ideas. But since you already know what you're doing, and then you're confined to your expectation of what's going on over here, and you can't be open to any of this that's coming in. You're not open to any possibility. To practice effective communication, first embrace ignorance. Yes, embrace I don't know. Because I don't know, my mind is empty. An empty mind is an open mind, and an open mind is a generous mind. I find that going into conversations with the understanding that I don't know eliminates expectations and keeps assumptions from biased memories from tainting the situation. It contaminates, it prevents me from connecting. I don't listen. I come up with my own agenda. It's a mess. I walk away without an understanding of what happened, and I totally miss out on an opportunity of being just myself in that moment. Expectations and assumptions are always irrelevant distractions, and they are meant to derail the conversation. That is their whole purpose. Because if they can derail the conversation, they can pull the conversation back around to the me that we think that we are. That's what distractions do, and that's what assumptions do and expectations do. They come in with this expectation of, well, I already know, and so you can't tell me anything different. And so I'm going to live in this identity. And unless the conversation can circle around and come back around to me, then I'm not interested. But if we actually knew ourselves well enough, we would always be welcome to a brand new aspect of ourselves, which is the engagement of with another person, because that's just another aspect of ourselves. Here's a caveat to the practice. Although this has served me for a number of decades, I'm nowhere near an expert, and I'm open to the possibility of other ways to be present in my life, because keeping an open mind takes full-time concentration, focus, and effort. And such is the life of a seeker and a sage. If you found this relevant or useful, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. May this help you to be present. From the seeker and the sage, I'm so grateful for you here. Namaste.